And we are live. Welcome back to episode 3 of Here's the Craic podcast. I'm Ross.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Shay.
And we're 3 in the bag.
3 in the bag. We're going strong.
We had a bit of mic issue. But we're sorted now. We've resulted in just recording off one mic.
Yeah.
Because we feel like that's the best way to go about it, to make it simple and
getting-
effective.
We're getting there.
We are very simple-minded.
Yeah, we're not technical folk. Well, I don't know. I like to think of myself as a technical person. I just don't have
Clearly
the time.
fucking
I
not.
just don't have the time and the patience to look at stuff.
Can't even use GarageBand.
So here, what can we do? What have you been up to this week? Start off with Shay.
What have I been up to? Well, I started back at work this week. So I suppose that's a big change from laying up in my bed all for the past quarantine.
Back in the Vickies.
Yeah, back to work.
What's it like? Like, is it much different now?
I think it's. I thought it would be a lot more strict.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm honest, I thought everyone would be like keeping their distance, wearing their masks in, but I don't think. Bar maybe like some older people, they've come in wearing masks, but obviously they're at high risk.
Yeah.
But everyone else, they're just as if nothing ever happened.
Do you now have to? I seen a thing and it was basically like you have to wear masks now. Because I know we were up in Decathlon yesterday and no one at all was wearing masks. There were maybe 1 or 2 people wearing masks.
Starting beef.
But like, do you actually have to?
No.
As a party.
The
No.
staff were wearing
Like,
PPE.
See, with us, it's you don't have to wear a mask behind the counter and you don't have to wear gloves. It's optional.
Aye.
But there's screens in front of us. But we also have a new thing in now where we have to go out and clean 6 or 7 times a day.
Yeah.
Like properly, not just like tidy up. We always would have tidied up like the papers and stuff. But now it's proper, wipe down all the counters, wipe down screens, machines,
But
everything.
in theory, though, you probably should be doing that anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Like, realistically, if you think about the whole before
Yeah.
coronavirus even was a thing,
Yeah.
like, I think it's like, I know whenever I worked in the phone shop, it was just like, it was stinking.
Yeah.
Like, after the day, it was stinking because you had weans in around, like, touching and like putting their fingers all over the phones and all, and it just ended up being a flipping, like, it was a germ infested place.
Do you think that's something that'll come from us now? Is like after this is all over, it'll sort of be maintained, like
Yeah.
the cleaning?
Well, I'm definitely more conscious as to what I'm touching and what I'm like after I wash my hands, and like, not one thing I was really big into biting my nails. I was a nail biter and I have not bit my nails in a while. I was biting my nails there like half an hour ago, so I was ready to put my fist through the flipping
See,
laptop.
one thing I find interesting to say, gloves don't really help prevent the spread. But it is one other thing that I find that counteracts that is they stop you from touching your face. Because if you wear a pair of white gloves and you see the amount of dirt that builds up on your gloves, you do not want to touch your face with them gloves.
I watched me and Mum there about, this is going back a good few weeks ago. We went up to Asda to click and collect on our shopping.
Yeah.
Like the privileged people that we are. I was sitting in the car and like Mum was checking because we went up, not shaming Asda here, but we did go up, and then when we got back down the road again, we realised that they forgot to give us like 2 litres of milk and a block of cheese.
Yeah.
So it's, and like when it's that amount, like you're missing, it just really pisses you off.
Yeah.
So like Mum was like, I must check this now. So like she was out checking in the car, and I seen a guy walk out with trolleys. He had the face mask and he had gloves on. Now, he was wheeling the trolley. He took the stuff out, put it in the boot, all good and well. He got in the car. He took off his mask first and he set it down. Then he took off his gloves. So he took off the right side with the right hand glove, with his left hand already still gloved. So that was fine. But then he turned around and he took off the other glove with his hand, unwrapped it, then scrumpled the gloves up, and you could see him stuffing it down the corner, and like no sanitizing at all. He just like lifted out a cigarette and lit a cigarette, and I was like, you've literally just defeated the purpose of what you were doing there.
Yeah. It's hard to be perfect.
So it's no one can be perfect.
If only everyone could be like Ross.
Well, I don't wear face mask or glove.
Oh, well, then everybody don't be like Ross.
Don't be the badass, like that.
I do have a face mask.
I was thinking of getting like one of them Nike ones or something. I think they look class, like just even like when gyms are open and stuff. Like.
I wanted a designer one. Like,
Do you order a
no,
designer?
I was almost.
It's just the
almost.
I see
that's something.
ASOS now is doing doing.
It's becoming. It's going to become a
I think
fashion
it
trend.
will.
Like.
I think it will. But like, I was listening to like Joe Rogan and Elon Musk on. Like he had on, like the second time he had on, like it was around the time like as it all started, and he was saying like in China and all, like they wear masks. Like if you have a cold or anything, like people wear masks. And he's like, that's what should happen. Like if you have a cold, you should wear a mask, like out in public transport and all
Oh, you can get a Captain America face mask,
that.
or you get a Wonder Woman face mask.
But yeah, a lot of people think that face masks, people wear them to stop getting a disease, but it's actually to prevent.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
have it, you're not spreading it.
Something,
But
yeah.
that's one of the things he said was like if you think of it, like if your child has a cold and they're going to see their grandparents, like
Yeah.
they should be wearing a mask anyway, like because like,
Yeah.
if someone elderly could get a cold and just die from it as well as like a coronavirus.
Yeah. But what do you think now that you're going to a gym?
What am I,
Like,
it's
are
more
you
like
conscious of?
no, like it's like
Is it a private gym?
It's a personal trainer, so it's like just like it's in his garage, just like set up.
Yeah.
He's averaging it like. I don't know. I'd be a bit weird like going back to the gym even when they're open. I don't know what. Like I've seen like
Yeah.
photos and stuff of like it's all like taped around and they've got the treadmills with like the what do you call it, screens and stuff in between them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like you're touching and you're sweating and stuff, and it's like at least when like the likes of someone coming out of the yard, just like one person's in after another. Like
I know.
you sort of can
I
control.
know the
it.
way, because the gym that I go to is all like group, like there's 6 people, but he had it now for a week or two there where he was running 2 sessions a day, one at like 5:30 and one at 6:30, and it was basically an outside session. You got your own mat outside 2 meters away from the other person, you got your own weights, and like you did not leave that mat. Like you were doing like squatting, press ups, you would have maybe ran up and down the car park, all that there, but it was more. But now he's doing it where that he's basically taking that inside, so it's like different stations.
Yeah.
So like each person has their own little bit. What's this you've got?
Chanel getting it up?
Oh, that would make you sweat. Like imagine that
That'd be a
afterwards.
great workout.
Imagine it's like, have you ever slept in the tent overnight? You know when you wake up
yeah.
in the morning and it's all wet.
Your own sweat would be dripping.
Yeah.
out. Oh, it'd be
That's the
disgusting.
condensation you see from sweating. But like you
Imagine
see,
trying to clean one of those things too after someone came out of it.
yeah.
But see, that's the thing. That's why I'm glad I don't work in retail anymore in a shop, because I do not. One thing I hated about working in retail, and I've done it for 4 or 5 years, was cleaning up after people. Like see people who brought in like children and stuff, and like their child like dropped ice cream or like put biscuits and all over the floor, and it was like some parents and all were like, oh here, grab me a brush and I'll clean that up, and you're like, I'm not gonna give you a brush and let you clean it. Like that's not.
Really nice, though.
Or you got the occasional working man in who would have come in with literal crap attached to his shoe and just trailed it in. And it's
Hopefully
like,
it's a bit of a wake up call for people. But like, do you know I got like a sort of like the positive thing you could look at the gyms is like I hate going to the gym when it's packed though. So at least now like it's got, you sort of have your own
It's
space
gonna be
and
max
stuff.
what 6 people, yeah.
The queues
There's
are quite
absolutely
bad
no
too.
excuse now.
But you know
the
what I mean?
queues are annoying me.
Just a queue to get into the gym.
No, decathlon.
Oh right. Oh okay.
I queued. Me and her must have queued for about 25-30 minutes to get into decathlon,
Yeah.
and then went to chain reaction and queued for about 15
I
minutes.
just try to stay away from going to the shops. Like even me and Bruno on about going to the shopping centre maybe this weekend, and it's just the thought of it. I just can be fucked. Like
Yeah.
lining up and stuff. It's just, and like where you can get most things online now, it's just like what is the point?
Yeah, I have ordered a lot of stuff online. Have you noticed now that you aren't? And this is, I don't know whether this is because we all are in relationships. Have you noticed you're able to save a lot? You were able to save a lot more over quarantine because you weren't going out for
But it's
dinners.
even
And, I suppose everybody's like that. You're not eating out.
But I would have went out with like to watch the football during the week, like Champions League and like football is on Monday and then on Saturday, and it's just pints,
Aye.
and then
Because like even after uni, me and you were
Yeah,
heading out
we
to the
were
pub or
going-
something, and then you'd have been about even around the Christmas market
even
time.
going for lunch as well. Like we would have went to like whatever and
Aye.
got spent easier, spend like 10 quid.
And you're definitely getting a takeaway after you go out as well.
You know, and then sure, even with like your girlfriend or whatever, you're going getting dinner at the weekend, or even like just going to the cinema during the week. It's like so many things that were just so normal.
Yeah, and that we're taking up a lot of money. Because like that's what I said to Lucinda yesterday was, me and her went to Decathlon, bought some stuff at Decathlon that I wanted, and she wanted gym clothes, I wanted cycling stuff.
Yeah.
And then we both got Subways, and then ended up stopping in Antrim on the way home to get a Starbucks.
Right.
And like, whenever me and her looked at it, that was like 30 quid.
Yeah.
But like and like food and like all that there, and we were just like, it's so easy.
It's so
And
easy to
like
spend,
me and
yeah.
her obviously going away this weekend, and I'm just like, that'll be.
It's even like diesel and stuff, like you're not driving
Yeah.
as much, and then
I used to fill up my car like
Mm.
at least once a week, full, and I think the most I went 2 months
No.
on one time. So
So
maybe month and a
well,
half, 2
maybe
months on one
maybe
time.
lockdown's done the world of good for folk. Maybe a lot of people have allowed to be saving money.
Yeah. What do you think of pubs and stuff reopening now?
I won't be in one.
I still think it's very early days for that.
I won't be in one for a while.
That's just weird. I was talking to Duncan. Like,
Yeah.
he was texting me today, and he was saying he went out last night, and he says, I was like, is it weird? Like, I was like, is there much difference? And he says, not really. Like, he's like, you're sort of just brought in and put to your table, and everything's like brought to you. And he's like, the only time you leave your table is when you're going to the toilet. But then he says like, you got to check your temperature before you go in. And I was a bit
Right,
like, well,
good.
that's weird, but I suppose it's like obviously has to be done. But
One thing, I don't see myself going, and like that's what me and Cindy were saying there yesterday was, we're like, will we go to Ramore? And I was like, I'm happy to get a Ramore takeout, but I'm not sitting in Ramore.
seriously,
I'm not at that. I'm
Would
not
you
at
not
that
go
level
in
of
then?
confidence. No,
That's what-
I would get a takeaway from it 100%, but I would not sit in it. And more or less, I hate eating out. I hate eating out in terms of like we would go like to like Ramore or something if we were up at the port, but
Mm.
like we very rarely, apart from that, eat out because I don't know. I just find eating out like once you're waiting on your dinner and then it comes and then like it's a wee bit of chat after, and I don't like this. I don't like lingering about after dinner.
yeah.
It's like you're just sitting at the table and then you're very aware that other people are queuing. It's like especially more because
Yeah.
it's so busy. But like it's funny because then we could sit at a pub for
Yeah.
hours.
Like there's something just a bit more relaxed about a pub. I think like with the likes of Ramore, something that's so busy and fast paced, you sort of feel like you have to get
Yeah.
up and go. But then I'd be the opposite. Like I'd like getting out of the house and going for food and stuff.
And then when they really want you to leave the Ramore, just send a rat in like go.
See, my only issue is it's okay with restaurants, shops. Like people are going to be sitting in their cubicles or whatever. They're not going to be moving about. Whereas pubs is a social place.
Aye.
Like people are going to like, maybe they're not like. People are going to go out and they're going to be like, right, I'm going to sit in one place. I'm not going to talk to anyone. But once you have a bit of alcohol in you, like, you know,
That's it.
you sort of just let go
people
of
will
it.
be especially all
Yeah,
around here.
I
like,
think maybe it's a bit too early to open the pubs,
That's
but restaurants and stuff, yeah. I
especially if you
understand.
go to that sort of pub scene in Northern Ireland where once people get a little bit of drink in them, you become, it's like you know everybody,
Yeah.
breed, seed and generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where people are just throwing their arms around you like, well, what's crack? And
And
it's,
especially with a lot of pubs at home,
yeah,
it's a lot of bar drinking. People sit up at the
Yeah.
bar on their stool
yeah.
That's
and
like,
sit around and
that's
have a
what
crack.
Brona's ones are like they say like all their regulars should just sit around.
Yeah, and people at home, they don't go into the bar in a group. They go into the bar on their own
Yeah.
to meet other people.
Yeah.
It's not a like, it's just a social thing for them to
seen-
go and meet people.
I seen a thing yesterday and it was your phone's about to fall offside that seat. It's really giving me agitation, anxiety. I seen a thing yesterday and it was like this guy and he was like one of the first people he queued up from like 8 AM or something to go into Wetherspoons in
Wetherspoons,
England.
yeah.
You know, he bought a bottle of Magners.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have served
Well,
them.
that's his drink of choice. Fair
Well, you
play
could have
to him.
just bought that in the house.
I know. You'd think he'd be.
Like realistically, yeah, but then a lot of people could counteract my
Oh.
argument there and say, well, it could have been he just wanted that sort of pub scene,
Yeah.
which is fine. But like realistically, get a few mates round to the house, get a
Yeah.
few mates round to the
I
gaff,
bet he doesn't have any
bought a
mates.
few bottles at well then why's he going to a pub?
Just to see people, maybe.
But he hasn't.
But that's the thing about older people. Like a lot of older people are lonely and like they go out of the house to like the next to the pub just to see.
Is this
people.
him? Man arrives at Wetherspoons at 8 AM.
I hope so. The volume of privacy, so. Yeah.
Ah, there he is there.
What a guy.
What a guy.
What would be the first drink you would get if you were?
Pint of Haverly.
If I was going to Witherspoons, don't they do those jokes?
Jugs.
they-
Yeah.
Like, it's something you can't get at
Don't
home.
I
I
see.
see.
Yeah.
This is a like Budweiser, Coors Light, all that there. You drink from bottle to bottle, like Magners,
No,
all
that's
that there.
different from the top,
But
though.
once it comes out of a tap, it's like golden
I'd
juice.
say.
Yeah.
Heverly, I got a few tins of Heverly
It's a
over
different
lockdown,
experience.
and it's definitely not the same as being crisp out
a
of
pint
flipping-
of Coors would be the first thing I'd be
Yeah.
getting.
Pint of Smithwick's, actually. That's what I know.
You love a wee Smithwick's.
Creamy.
or a nice cocktail. I would be partial to a nice like
Martini.
what do you got? What was it? The Jameson and ginger.
Yeah, it was nice. See, I never would have drank.
With a wee hint of
I
lime.
never would have drank an Irish whiskey until I started drinking it with ginger, because I'm so used to drinking Jack Daniels and Coke.
Yeah, but you never know. People, lockdown could have done the world of good. Some people could have just turned into absolute alcoholics over lockdown.
I think you were on a slippery slope at one stage. Like, not gonna lie.
Well, I'm more pointing to him. More the fact that the day we were on Warzone.
Oh, that was one night.
I think Shay learned his lesson.
Irish whiskey.
That was your fault. You got me on that there.
I was like, oh, how are we tipple? You drunk like a bottle and a half. He passed out somewhere. I think he just went offline.
I
just fell
was
asleep.
getting to the stage where, you know, when you're like drunk and you're just tired. And I was like falling asleep with a remote in my hand, and I just whipped out the mic and all, and just turned off the PlayStation and went to sleep.
I know, you never even said anything.
I was like falling asleep, and then I was like, oh, I'm done now.
You done a full on.
No.
You done a full. I thought you done an Oren. You know the way Oren just will like. Oren's like whenever he's done playing, he's just like he'll not say anything. He'll just log
Just
off.
leave.
And you're like, oh, where did he go? You can just see a notification coming up. Oren left the party, and me and him are like, what? Did he just leave? Like I never said. And then you message him and he said, oh yeah, I had to go. And you're like, you could have said, oh here lads, I'm away.
No communication.
But you've speaking of, you've started personal training.
Yeah.
Being personal
2
training.
sessions this week.
You're not a PT. You've started
No,
going to a PT.
Started this week, Tuesday and Thursdays.
Get fit,
Trying
get
to
motivated.
get into shapes. Like we were going, I think like all of us were sort of consistent enough at the start of the year, probably the most I've ever been, and then
Me,
lockdown.
you. I never realised how committed you were until that day we went round. I was round at the old apartment, and you were in the kitchen, and then you showed me the pictures that you took before you started, and then whenever you started that meal plan, I was like, holy crap, he is properly on it. I think that's what motivated you, and then that's what motivated me as well.
Yeah, I think like you were so strict to the dad, and then he sent me like the dad he was on, and then I started it like, and then like lockdown happened, and I was trying to do stuff at home, but like after a few weeks, it just went to shit.
Yeah.
So now
It's easier to do cardio stuff at home.
I know,
Like once I get it in my head, where like after January, like I was probably the heaviest I've ever been after January. Like what I was like I was like nearly 18 stone. I was like holy, and like I am quite tall, which means I can wear it a bit better. But like I still like no, this is not like my ideal weight would be like 15 and a half stone. I'm at 16 at the moment, so I'm very close. But like since lockdown happened, I've been 16 stone consistently.
I don't know what I was. I think it was before I started. I was nearly 14.
Yeah.
But then I got down to like 12.5. That's so low for me. Like I never like.
Well, if you go on
Since it's-
NHS's
that was a
website
child.
and check your BMI, you'll basically be either severely malnourished, or you'll be chronically obese.
It's one or the other.
It's one or the other. You can't be. For me to be a healthy weight on NHS's website, I think I need to be like 12 and a half stone.
That's lighter than me.
I would look like
there's
I
no,
should.
There's no
Yeah, I'll look like someone
You've
off.
another 2 inches on me and I think.
What are you, 6? I'm like 6'1" a bit, 6'2" basically.
I think I'm just touching 6'1". It could be 5'11", 0.95 or something like that.
We're probably somewhere.
But
right
do you prefer personal training or do you prefer to be on your own?
I think like it's good in a way. Like I was enjoying going to the gym on my own, and then like obviously lockdown and all happened. I wanted to just get back into it. And then I met him through like I fitted a squat rack for him, and he was sort of just saying he was starting, and then I was just like, yeah, fuck it. But he, like the thing about personal trainers is that they like push you. Like I was saying this to Shay earlier, it's like in the gym you'll just do like your 4 sets or whatever of whatever you're doing, and then you'll stop. Whereas he's like, if, say I would do like 4 sets of 10 or 12 or 4 sets of 8 or whatever, he'd be like 4 sets of 8 or 8, 10, 12. You know, we'll like and then like they just push you a lot. Like I think that's the benefit of it, and like showing you how to do things right. Like we were in his gym today, and I was even showing him like just things he told me, like just wee things just to do differently. But yeah, hopefully I get the benefits from it.
The guy I go to is like grip personal training, so it's like, but I quite like it because it's not like that typical gym scene where it's like a whole pile of jacked folk. Like there's like women, there's like older women and all in my class and stuff. But like he's kind of got it now where like you have your own individual goals, and he tries to basically like, so he'll look at it and be like, right, Ross is in on Monday morning at 7 o'clock with Janine and all, and Mary and all that there, and like Darren. So like Darren's maybe trying to lose weight, I'm maybe trying to like lose a bit of weight and get like toned up. Then Mary just wants to improve her but Mary could have a flipping just be 6 months out of a flipping hip operation. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
do you find that pushes you whenever you're working alongside other people?
yeah. Well, more or less, it creates a bit of crack. So like the time passes pretty quick.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot. I don't feel like it's benefited me a lot over lockdown with the outside sessions. If I'm honest with you, and that's why I've started. But like lockdown happened, I was going to the gym 3 days a week, and like 3 45-minute sessions with him a week, and then I was trying to do like cardio stuff on my own. But then like whenever lockdown happened, I started like I done what everybody done and just started running. And then ended up running myself into like a coma, and then just decided no, this isn't for me anymore.
It's hard to keep up with running too.
Yeah. Well, how far did I done? I started off doing 1 mile. 1 mile, died. Then next day done like two. Then next week done like 2.5 miles. And then like it is really easy with running. Once you get it in your head, there is a mentality to running. And like whenever people said that, it's like, oh, running, it's like so technical. Like you need to. I'm like, you're literally just falling forward and a bit quicker, like how you would walk. But there is a technique to like the breathing and all of it. Like I googled it and went really deep into the internet to like learn it, because obviously I was doing fake all anyway. So
you were doing very long runs.
I don't.
Because I know I was always doing 5Ks, and then you told me one day, what was it like?
I done 14.8 mile.
I've never run more than 5K.
But I said to you, I was like, oh, I done 14.8 mile, and you were like, oh, that's cool. You were like, I done like 5K this morning. I was like, no shit, I done 14.8 mile, and you were like, what? But after that,
was
like,
that running like the whole time, or like taking breaks, or like, you know?
I had a consistent pace, because I look back on my run, I had a consistent pace to, there's a road that I was coming up, it's like massive hills, and like now I'm cycling it, I notice it a lot better, but like you'll see like the graph, and then you'll see as soon as I got to that bit it dipped, because I was wanting to run, but my legs were just like nah. But like after that, my knees, and it like, see whenever we were playing Warzone and I was like getting up to go to the toilet, oh my word, pain.
My legs were killing me there after. Like I never do legs, and then he's like, I've been doing legs and like I done it there on Thursday, and holy fuck, no, I'm only recovered now, I think.
Yeah. But are you getting the? You were really getting into it, like getting the protein and all.
I was going like I'd say from like the start of the year, I was going 4 times a week. And then I was like doing the diet and stuff, and like I think I lost a good enough bit of weight from what I was doing.
But then have you seen a lot of the transformation videos on TikTok where like people in quarantine were like, right, I am in the house, I'm going to be doing something for half an hour every day, and like there's a girl I seen this morning, and like I'm not being cheeky, but like the start of the video it was like before quarantine, and she was big, she was big, and then it was like, it was one of them like reveal videos, and like now she's flipping twig, you know. I mean, she lost a pile of weight.
It's just consistency, I think. Else.
Yeah.
It's enjoying it too.
I think when I first started going to the gym, I've like been on and off it. I used to hate going to like gyms when they're packed and like people just in real good shape, and you were just a mess.
But that's what I found about the Katie gym as well at home. Like we were going to Belfast. I think, what do we go to 2 or 3 different gyms in Belfast?
Those pure gyms, like they're just packed all the time,
and they're too intense.
Everyone's just ripped.
And
it's just like that one we went to. I mean, and these guys were like fucking huge, like powerlifting massive. Like just, and me and him were just like,
one of them like
this, and you're sort of going over to like lift weights beside them, and you're sort of like,
And every time you go in, they're still there. Like
they just live in the gym.
I think that once you get comfortable with like you have to just like do it at your own pace, and like, you know, because like there's no point going into the gym and being like, oh, I'm going to lift real heavy weights, and like you need to just like build your strength up.
What I've noticed is with the gym is, what I would love to know is, see them ones who get absolutely like ripped, like jacked, like, and the ones who are like doing all the competitions where they're like doing this with their arms and all, like flexing basically everything in their body. What happens whenever they just decide at some point in your life you have to go, right, I'm stopping this, or I'm not going to do it as intense? All that will just turn to fat.
Oh yeah. It will just liquefy.
It's just it's just maintaining that.
So like that's what I would like to know is like, how in your own mind, how do you start off and go, right, this is what I'm going to do, and this is it's going to work, and then like once you press the pause button on that, you just turn into flipping Jabba the Hutt.
You know, it takes years to get into the shape that I get into though. It's just like, you know, like, but I suppose it's what you want.
Yeah.
Like I would never want to do that sort of size.
But the whole of the UK, and I feel like Northern Ireland especially, went into this whole sort of fitness frenzy at the start of lockdown where everybody was doing that
Yeah.
flipping
That's
5k thing.
I think it was like
Couldn't even get any
the only
fitness
way
equipment.
you could really go out of the house was to do exercise. So I feel like
Yeah.
everyone sort of got into running, but like I fucking hate running, so I was just doing like weights at home and stuff. But I think now I sort of want to get better at it.
Everybody was doing
It's
the...
like when you done that 5k challenge and I had to do it because you challenged me to do it. That just made me realise it's like I need to get better
You
at this, like.
were so reluctant to do that 5k, where like I ran out of people. I was literally in my... This is how much quarantine affected me. I was lying in bed and going, if I don't nominate Thomas, I don't know who else I want to nominate, because I literally don't have 5 other people.
Because I know like I was going to the gym and for like a warm up, I would have done like 1k on the treadmill, and like I know I wouldn't have been able to do much more, and then you challenged me to that. I was like, fuck, like. But I done it, man. And I think that like I was talking to that personal trainer, and
You done it in 8 minutes?
No. I was talking to that personal trainer, and he was saying what he tells his clients to do is like do 1k, and then 2k like do like a slow jog or a walk, and then try and beat your time when it hits 3k.
Well, that's me. Sorry.
And then
You go.
what's
Do you
going on?
need to go put out a fire?
I'm checking my camera.
Yeah, he
Do
was.
you need to go put out a fire?
He was saying do like 1k, then 2 like sort of get your breath back, and then 3k try and make your first time, and then the same with the 4th one, like take a break, try and get your breath back, and then on the 5th one. So I might just try doing that one, because like I would not be able to do like a 5k just consistently yet. So I'm gonna
But you
just
wonder how personal trainers make their money, like in terms of like everybody seems to be a personal trainer now.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like
there's a guy who went to my school, and like he started personal training, and like I see him on Instagram, like keeping an eye on him, but like he put up a thing the other day and it was like, got this 12-week program running, this is what you'll get, and it was a lot of good benefits. And the same fella as well, like I knew him in school, I wasn't really friendly with him, but I knew him, and it was one of them things where I knew he was smart, so like if he went to him, he would make sure that he knew what he was talking about before he even suggested it to you. Like he's not one of these guys where he's like, oh, I'm gonna do this, why, I don't know, I just feel like I should. He'll be doing it because he's like, right, there's a scientific reason behind this, why you should be doing this. But I've seen him, it's like $13.50 for 12 weeks, 1,350 for 12 weeks for a 12-week program.
Is that like one session a week?
And that's he's taking on 6 clients for that.
Was it like one session a week?
3 sessions a week.
With him?
With protein and a meal plan and
like
everything.
if you're getting all that, that's not bad.
Yeah, well exactly. But like
Is he paying for the food?
No.
But is he giving the protein and all?
I think he's given the... I'll see if I can find the post up.
But
like...
It's a lot of money.
In my head I was just like, here, that's a lot of money. Like I don't think I would want to spend that amount, but then at the same time... Like someone could literally be on the verge of being like, I am so disgusted by my body, he's going to help me, so I'm going to do it. And which is fair enough.
But like what I was saying, the promo was like, if you think of it as in, like say you're going to the shop and getting takeaways, like how much is it? Like if you got a takeaway your girlfriend, it could be near 20 quid.
Yeah.
If you're doing that once or twice a week, that's 40 quid. If you're going, and then you're going to, say you're going to the shop every day and spending the tenner, like you're spending near £100 a week. Like if you cut all that out and like actually, like I think the way I see it is like you're spending money to improve yourself, rather than just spending fucking takeaways and all that shit.
It includes 3 60 to 75 minute coach sessions per week, tailored session plan for each different to the training program, a tailored 4 to 6 day a week training and cardio program, tailored daily meal plan, calorie and macronutrient calculator, daily access to advice via phone, weekly weigh-ins, bi-weekly body fat caliber, online progress tracking, and a free transformation kit worth £40. So it's 2 weeks plus supply of my protein, the whey protein, BCAAs, and a mini shaker bottle.
Oh, so you get the proteins and all?
Well, like that's a lot in that one.
Yeah.
Like, to be
Protein.
Like that's what I'm saying. The same fella I would know wouldn't arse about, but at the same time, that's a lot of money. And you wonder how people are making that in such a market that is really like, I'm going to put a technical term on this, saturated.
Yeah, but like,
oh boy,
is it like, you know what I mean?
I seen something the other day. Some statistic about buying a takeaway a week. Did you see it?
It's crazy. Like, but like 20. If you think like you're buying a takeaway a week and it's 20 quid,
Have you seen that?
No.
There was like, I think that could have been a TikTok.
If you're getting a takeaway every week and it's 20 quid and you're getting it for 52 weeks, like what's that, like 20? What is it?
But what is your fitness goals?
I just want to lose weight and get built. No, I just he was
I
saying
want to be like Chris
at the
Hemsworth.
minute I'm
or
like,
Thor.
I just want to get more lean and lose weight. Like I don't really want to like. I'm not looking to be like a fucking Dwayne The Rock Johnson. No. Like I just want to be happy. With
I would love to. I see myself as looking, if I were to do it properly,
Yeah.
I would want to come out of it looking like. Have you ever seen that photo of John Krasinski?
Yeah,
You know, Jim
but
from The
he's
Office.
he's ripped. Like,
He's
like
ripped.
That's like that is proper. Like
Yeah.
I've got it.
if you could.
It was if you just spend £13.70 a day on useless shit, which is quite easy to do on
Mm.
like,
A
the likes of
day?
Amazon.
Fair enough.
You waste £5,000 in a year. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Then,
£5,000.
like, that's your takeaways and stuff.
But like
I'd say.
you think about how money adds up, especially when you're younger. You don't even like. If I was going to work, there'll be sometimes on my way to work I'll stop in and get like a coffee,
Yeah.
and then get like a Red Bull for like later on, and that's like £4 or £5.
Yeah.
And if I'm doing that 5 times a week, it's like £5 over a month, £100.
Yeah.
Quick maths.
It's just like what do you want to spend your money on? No? Like I think like the benefit as well going to personal training is you're learning about your like nutrition and like what way the way you should be doing the exercises.
Well,
and
there's
stuff.
worse ways you could spend your money.
Yeah.
Like there'd be people who easily spend £1,300, like in a month on like flipping like food and
Yeah.
drinking and all that. There, like you think if you go on a night out, you're spending nearly £100.
Just because it's in cheaper installments. I don't
Yeah.
care.
So like, there's worse things you could be putting in your mind. Like I totally get it whenever I see personal trainers saying that. Like, oh,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
you know like you're investing in yourself, which is fair enough.
One thing I think is great about personal trainers, is you sort of touched on it, is just form. Like, you go into the gym and you only try and do it yourself. You're gonna
Yeah.
like form is so important. It's-
Look at us being all health and
Yeah.
fitness
Health
related.
and wealth.
Well, this took a year.
Who'd
I
have
was
thought?
expecting to talk about like the news this week and like sort of catch up. We could do that in the next podcast.
Yeah. But like even like when we were like in your gym this morning, like even like there's just small things they can tell you, and like
Yeah,
it's just like I think like YouTube's good and like you can look up workouts and stuff, but it's like you're not you can't like it's like
It's
doing
good to
it.
have someone watching
Yeah,
you do it.
it's
Yeah.
like just the small things though,
Doesn't tell you what you're doing wrong.
definitely. So yeah,
You could look like these guys.
that's just insane, man.
Yep. I've just, my internet search history's compromised now. I've just typed in muscly men.
Oh,
Amazon is going to be listening to me on YouTube and all. They're going to be throwing up me recommendations. Oh, and we're looking at the same thing.
well, what would be your goal, Shay? Like what shape would you want to get in?
This just got really fucking gay.
Nothing wrong with that, by the way.
No.
Remember, we have to be woke.
Oh my god, what are we doing?
I won't look like her.
Oh my
I don't know.
God.
I don't like real muscly. Like, I just want to be toned.
Just lean machine.
But it's not that easy.
See, I see I'm more of like, I think I kind of resemble Ben Affleck a little bit. No, not in like looks.
Oh.
I'm not as good looking as Ben Affleck, but like he's big. He's a big fella, but he's not muscly. He's like a bit of pudge in all the right places. That
I'll
kind
get
of
the
bluffing
picture
has
of
been.
Ben Affleck up for people who don't know who Ben Affleck is.
People know who Ben Affleck is.
Some people might not.
Well, here to be fair, I've just
I'm
typed
trying-
in-
I've
I've just
found
typed in
images
Ben
of him,
Affleck muscly and yeah.
He got in some shape for a Batman film. Though. He was
What
alright.
did you think of Ben Affleck's Batman? Did you like Ben Affleck's
I
Batman?
just think it's not.
I
There's
can
no.
watch it.
You can't beat Christian Bale though.
I know you can't beat
But
Christian
like
Bale.
I think like them films were shit. Like I think that the Justice League film was shite, man.
I don't think that looks like me.
Well, he's got grey hair. So I'm halfway there. aren't
Philip
I?
Schofield is grey hair.
That one's close.
Oh, you
They
said that
look
like
like
Philip
him.
Schofield.
I think we're getting a bit carried away here. Where
Yeah.
the fuck's this going?
Yeah.
Oh
Celebrity lookalikes.
Now we're looking at Ben Affleck. But yeah, no, I just see myself losing that weight. I think it'll be easier for people like us because for folk like us, like I would hate to be really skinny and wanting to get a bit more toned and muscly. I feel like that requires more work. Whereas if you're quite like not obese, but like if you're on the sort of heavier side, like heftier side, like it's really easy to turn that fat into. Well, it's not easy, but you know, it's just a
Easier.
process. Yeah. So yeah, fitness goals for 2020.
Yes.
Next season's podcast, you'll not
Yeah,
recognise us at all.
We'll hardly be able to fit
ripped.
in this small corner.
We'll all have those like big fucking gallon water.
I did
Thanks,
have.
everyone.
I used to have one of them, and then I dropped it and burst it everywhere. But yeah, I think that's like well over half an hour now. So we'll wrap that up,
We'll
and
wrap it up.
hopefully someone enjoyed the content.
Thanks for
Maybe if you're wanting to go to the gym or get motivated, if us three can do it,
We'll
anybody
can
can
do it. Often done it, yeah.
check in a week. But yeah, thanks very much for listening.
If you enjoyed, subscribe, leave a comment.
Yeah, subscribe, leave a comment, like,
Tell your friends.
tell your friends, and yeah,
GG, thanks.
thanks.